Hey everybody, hope you're having a good week. This week's assignment is talking about the G1000 and what we've learned from this course so far. Something that we didn't know. One thing that I learned is about the vertical navigation. When I was flying the G1000 before, during when I was doing flight instruction, uh, I didn't know about this feature, or it just wasn't uh, installed on the software that we had on the G1000 equipment. The aircraft that I was flying was a multi-engine. It's called a DA-42 Twin Star, but we use it a lot for multi-engine training. So there wasn't a lot of needing to use the G1000 for flight planning and things like that. There were a couple cross countries built in, but honestly, not enough time to play with it or need that type of feature. A lot of VFR flying where I'm at. But it is a cool feature. It's very informational, and it offers navigation that, especially in general aviation, you're not used to. So the point of Vnav is vertical navigation. The vertical navigation is, from you're cruising at 14,000 feet and you need to descend to 2,000 feet, but you want to be a certain distance from the airport at that bottom altitude. It's especially important on arrivals, an arrival into an airport, especially a larger airport like Hartsfield. Uh, when you're en route, air traffic control is going to give you an arrival. They're going to tell you to fly a certain arrival that they're using at that time. Uh, on the arrival, you're going to have different altitudes, and instead of flying you're at 14,000 feet. You need to descend. The bottom altitude on the arrival is 2,000 feet. Instead of guesswork on descending from 14,000 to 10,000, how far out do I need to start that descent to make that 10,000 foot restriction at a certain waypoint? Vnav eliminates that. Using the Vnav feature, you can start your descent. It's going to help you understand when to start the descent, and it'll even give you a 1 minute warning as to when the descent will commence, to have you crossing at that certain altitude within the allotted amount of distance and time. The Vnav feature on the G1000 is pretty advanced. It's going to give you a VDI, which is a vertical deviation indicator, telling you whether you're high or low on that vertical path. And the VSI will actually give you an indication of what feet per second you need to be descending, whether it's 500, 1,500, or even 2,000 feet, which in a jet, 2,000 feet per second is a normal descent rate. Whereas if you're flying a single engine Cessna, obviously 2,000 feet a minute is you're screaming down. And that's one of the reasons why we have Vnav, is so that we don't have to pull the throttle back and just drop like a rock. So Vnav makes it much more. It's good for planning purposes, and it's also good for passenger comfort, and it sets you up for success. The airplane that I was flying at the airlines didn't even have Vnav, so if that tells you how advanced the G1000 really is, the Embraer 145 is not even equipped with Vnav. So it did have a VPI, which is what they said was a vertical path indicator, and it was only advisory in nature. In our SOPs, we weren't allowed to actually use that as a primary means of vertical navigation. We had to back it up with our mental math and the 3-to-1 rule, and the divide your ground speed by 2, figure out what your vertical speed should be. And also with that, the flight plan and the arrival, everything had to be correct in the FMS, as well as the G1000. You have to have your flight plan programmed and everything has to be matched up. So there are definite benefits to Vnav. If you have the option to learn more about it, that's great, because it's going to help you in the long run, especially more advanced avionics and more advanced flying. It's not as necessarily stick and rudder skills, but advanced as far as mentally challenging, understanding what the airplane is actually doing when it's going to do it, and understanding how you're actually flying. Obviously the airplane is descending, but why and where do you need to be? Especially at the airlines and ATC, if you're not following those arrivals going into big airports and you're not at those certain altitudes, you can bet you're going to be getting a phone number. So it's definitely something to learn. I know this is introductory for most people, but you will be seeing Vnav in the future. It's going to be the way you fly. So hope everybody has a good week, and take care. Bye.